Hi, and thank you for watching the forum. I'm your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent, and we are here speaking with Tom Burnham and Jim Tomasini from Burnsini Vineyards in Cottonwood, California. So thank you guys so much for coming on the show. I'm so excited to hear about wine. Anytime we talk about wine, it's going to be a good time.
And local wine is even better. And in fact, a little tidbit you may not know is that Burnsini Vineyards was the very first vineyard in Tehama County. So we want to hear how it went from being a hobby to this fabulous business. Yeah. So who wants to start? Jim?
Well, Tom and I got acquainted many years ago. We were both in the mechanical field, him at Simpson Paper and myself as a mechanic. And so we got together, and through the time we became friends when he moved his house down to Hammers Lane, and we started drinking a little wine and making a little wine. And we started off, and we probably made wine for 25 years, right, Tom?
Yeah.
And so anyway, we started making wine, and we started making more and more and more, and we decided somewhere along the line we had better either quit making as much as we make or to go legal. So we got a consultant from the Napa area and did the necessary paperwork, and here we are.
I would like to add something in there. In 1999, we made like 900 gallons, and
oh my gosh.
Jim come down the street and wanted to know what the black helicopters were flying over.
So we decided we better get legal.
Was it federal agents?
No.
Well, that's a
what we
lot of
always
wine.
tell.
It's a good story.
How long does it take to even make 900 gallons of wine?
Well, it's 150 gallons of wine per ton.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
you know.
That's a lot of
That's not
wine.
great.
That is a lot. I mean, where were you storing it, and how were you?
We didn't sell it. We just were trying to drink it.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. How did
150 gallons a year
Our
of
friends
wine?
would come over and we'd drink it.
Well, we got a lot of friends.
And you guys have kept that tradition going, even with your business, right? So you had friends come over and help crush and do the
whole
making of the wine.
The whole thing has been friends helping us.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think that probably with the financial part of it, if you didn't have good friends, you couldn't start that way to get there.
Yeah.
It's real expensive, I would imagine.
It's expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
So tell us about like your first crush. I mean, when you started kind of getting serious and you realized, wow, we have a lot of wine. What was that first time like? Because for people who may be interested in starting wineries, since you guys were the first, and now there's 10 more, you said? Are there 10 others now?
In Tehama County, yes.
In Tehama County, and you were the first. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So what was that first one like?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, we
I
started.
had a lot of wine. Remember?
We started off very minimal with a small grinder, and we separator and so on and so forth, and we used.
Jim and I was picking stems out of the grapes by hand.
Oh my goodness.
So then, then we graduated and we got ourselves a destemmer crusher.
Oh, wow.
And then we had a press, and we did the necessaries, and it takes quite a bit of time and energy to get hundreds of gallons of wine.
Yeah. So how many gallons are you making now? I mean, you were at 150 when you realized we need to make this happen.
Well, we do 1,500 cases a year, and we sell from Corning to Reading, and pretty much that's it. And so there's about 2.377 gallons of wine in a case. So what is it?
Yeah.
So you have to do the math on that on your own. I will not be able to help you out with that. I think Christy and I are going to leave that to the viewers.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of
wine.
Yeah.
So what I love is you guys still have these community events. People can come up and rent, or is it rented out, or basically hire the facility to have the event, like a wedding or birthday party, this type of thing, right?
We occasionally do weddings, but pretty much are related to us, people who do them, or really good friends. And we don't do a lot because of our age, and it's so much work. We used to have a wine festival the last Saturday of September, and we did that for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
And probably the last 7 or 8 years, we had 600 people at them. And everybody helped, but it was a lot of work.
Yeah, so we don't have it anymore.
Yeah, we've stopped.
But you do 2 big crushes a year. right?
No.
Winter and
No, just one crush a year.
okay, two.
But events, wine tasting events, we have a spring fling, which is March the 7th. And usually the first Saturday of December, we have a release party with our 2-year-old wine that been bottled.
Okay.
After it sits in the barrel for 2 years while we bottle it, and that's when we release it.
Now, I noticed that you guys said you do French oak and
American oak.
And American oak. So what is the difference between those two wines? Just for some of us who don't really, we just like wine.
About $500 a barrel.
Yes, absolutely. $500 a barrel.
Wow.
There's a big difference in the flavor, and I can't explain. You know, it's the difference in it when you're filling a new barrel. It really, you can tell it.
What are the symptoms, if you will? How can you tell? Is it the smell? Is it the look? Is it?
Well, if in a new oak barrel, American oak barrel, the oak taste is much stronger. Right, Tom?
Yeah, it's vanilla. They burn the barrels, or toast the barrels, I should say, to a medium toast, which would be a light brown, or a medium plus toast, which we don't use very often.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so is it okay? When I'm talking about the French, because I really don't know that much about wine at all, but when you're talking about the French barrel, the French oak, is that similar to like going to, you know, they say like they have the Burgundy taste, or is that from the ground that it was grown in?
Well, to start with, when you're making wine, if you don't have good fruit from where it's grown, you are not going to make good wine. And
I like that.
And the winemaker has about 20% chance of making it good, or maybe it's less than that, and making it good or making it bad.
So you got to have the good fruit to start with.
Right.
And then what is the French? You were laughingly saying $500 a barrel more, but is that how much more the barrel costs?
Well, it's $800 versus $300, approximately.
For the barrels themselves.
Yeah. And they last about 4 years.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can reuse them because you can only use them twice, right? Because you age it for 2 years.
Yeah.
Each. Wow. So
Actually.
That's a lot of investment.
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes,
Did you guys do this when you were retired? You started this when you were retired, or did you retire after starting this?
I don't think either one of us retired.
If you go down to Jim's Ironworks, it is in full swing. It's a huge company with lots of activity going on in Anderson, right?
Okay.
That's correct.
Mr. Humble over here.
Yeah.
And he's not retired by any stretch of the imagination.
You know, I'm not retired, and he retired from Simpson, but we were doing it together when we were both working.
When you were both working, that's when
Yes.
exactly.
In fact, we went in business in 2000, and the mill shut down in 2001, which I had 2 months to go to retire, and we're already in business.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. I mean, I wouldn't think most wineries start out that way, or most vineyards start out that way, where.
I'm not sure about that. Now, if you had a lot of money, you could start it otherwise, but
like Anselmo.
pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's
Good
interesting
example.
that you're able
Money
to.
after money after money
There's
after
a lot
money.
of wineries that are hobbies that generate into wineries.
Really? Okay, so that's
There's
generally
a
how it
lot
starts.
of people making wine.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep.
It's interesting, when I was living in Hungary teaching English, one of my students, Balázs, the big strapping Hungarian boy, high school senior, had worked that summer before creating the casks. Because Hungary has a big wine industry, and they were making them. They hand stretched the wood and then put the iron casings around it, and they hand did it. And it was quite an interesting thing to think of someone actually hand making them, right?
Yeah,
not
those
machine made.
All the barrels were originally made, you know, and I went down to the symposium, and I think Jim was with me down in Sacramento, and they had a fellow from, I think it was from France, and he was making a barrel, you know. It's a lot of work. Now they have presses, all machinery to make them in, as far as getting leakers from a brand new barrel, which is very unusual nowadays because of the mechanical part of it, and pressing them together and what have you. So
Might be interesting that most of the barrels, there was a fellow there at the symposium from Australia, a barrel maker, you know, World Cooperage or whatever, And we asked him, well, how many oak trees you got in Australia? He said, we have none.
Oh my.
It all comes from Missouri.
Oh, you're
my
kidding.
goodness.
No, that's
So
right.
they export the wood to Missouri
Yeah.
and
No.
from
From
Missouri
Missouri
to
to-
Australia.
yeah.
That's correct.
Oh, good heavens. And then it comes back here
Yep.
as a
And
product.
all the French oak pretty
Yeah.
much comes from France or
Right.
Yeah, it's
Hungary,
from
wherever.
France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right. It would have to be considered French
Yeah,
oak.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, okay. So, what is kind of in the future for you guys? Like, where can we get a hold of you guys? Like, this is just to know, like, do you have a newsletter or anything like that so people could sign up? And know
We do wine tastings by appointment, and the appointment thing is because most of the time I'm the only one there, and if I'm working out in the vineyard, I don't know anybody's calling. So if they call and make an appointment, they're going to be there at 2 o'clock tomorrow. I'll make sure I'm down there to meet them.
Yeah.
Wow, I mean, this is a really grassroots effort to make this vineyard work, and it's really amazing because when you go to Napa, you know, it's just like a well-oiled machine,
Corporate,
and
yeah.
it's totally
Yeah.
corporate.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to know that you're going and kind of being with somebody's family.
Yeah,
You guys are
it
kind of-
feels family. And when
It
you go up
does.
for the events, I think the events feel very family.
Yeah,
You know,
friends.
just friends.
Good
You
friends.
see a lot of
Yeah.
friends. You see the same people kind of coming
Correct.
time after time. And of
Yeah.
course, Joy and Deanna, your wives are there and loving on everybody and working hard.
Yeah.
So the website is burnsinivineyards.com, correct?
Right.
So if you want to know more about our own local here in the North State Winery, burnsinivineyard.com is the best way to look that up. And you know, I think if it's past March when you're watching this, be sure to watch for next December because you're going to be in for a treat when they do their release,
yeah.
right? The December
Yeah, the 2-year
release.
release.
Right.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, you guys.
Well, thank you. We
Yeah, we really appreciate
you
it.
inviting us.
Our pleasure. And you hang on because we're going to be right back in a few minutes in a minute or so with our next segment.
Hi, we're back with Chico Natural Foods, and we're speaking with Joey Haney. And so we get to go with wine and food today. That's kind of fun.
It's a good day,
It's
isn't
a
it?
great day. Who
Some of
doesn't
our
think
favorite
about those two things? Yeah.
So, Joey, you came on a good day.
I did,
Tell
yes.
us about the Chico Natural Foods Cooperative. Tell us what this is all about.
The Chico Natural Foods Co-op, it is a natural foods grocery store that is located in downtown Chico. It's existed in some form or another since the mid-70s, and really the two most unique things are the quality and nature of our foods. We focus exclusively on natural foods, on organically produced foods, and our communal nature. We are owned by the people who shop there. We have over 3,000 owners, and they are people who live in town or in the surrounding area. We have people come from all over, as we are the only co-op sort of in the area, and they own the store.
Yeah.
They get to decide how it's run.
The closest other co-op would be what, Arcata, and where's the other one?
There's co-ops. There are co-ops in Ukiah, in Grass Valley. Briar Patch has a.
Yeah,
Briar
but pretty
Patch-
far away.
Exactly.
I mean,
yeah.
you are really, for the North State, kind of
Yeah.
the closest one
The-
that you can go to.
The nearest to Reading, absolutely.
Yeah. And so when you tell us what you do. Tell us what you do.
I do.
Yes.
I
you're
work.
the person.
I'm the ownership and outreach coordinator.
Okay.
Which is there's two big aspects to it. One is the really fun one. I get to come out here. I get to do outreach. Just yesterday, I went to an elementary school in Chico, and we go there every month and teach the kids as part of their garden program.
Oh.
We did juicing with them. We made beet juice and carrot juice and apple juice and let them mix it and try it.
Yeah.
So I do stuff like that. I go to farmers markets, and then the ownership aspect is just as important, and that is but it's a little less fun. I'm up in the office and I process ownerships. Like I said, we have 3,000 owners. We have new owners coming in every day. We have people renewing their accounts, and so there's a lot of paperwork that comes with that. And so I maintain those databases and keep that running smoothly.
Yeah.
So now when you
I was.
go ahead.
I keep asking
I told
the
you
same
we do
thing.
that, right?
Yeah. So how did this get started. And
Yeah.
what's the difference between a co-op and a regular grocery store, and why would people want to be owners, members, and all of that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the co-op started in the mid 70s. It's just over 40 years old as a buying club. There were a handful of families in Chico that wanted better food than was available in the area, and so they would go down to San Francisco and they would just buy items in bulk and bring it up and divvy it up. Go down there, buy 100 pounds of beans, split it up among 15 families, grains, veggies, all that sort of thing. And the idea just took off, and it grew and grew until they opened a storefront, and the storefront has moved a few times over the ensuing decades. And now we are in downtown Chico at the corner of 8th and Main Street.
So just so I have a clear understanding of exactly what it is that you do. So the original owners were the 15 families, right?
Yeah, I believe there were 15.
Around 15 families. But it wasn't just like two people who started a store and then they added other people on. So they started with about 15 families. And then those 15 families were the ones that went down to San Francisco and did all of that, saying basically, we want beans, we're going to go down and get organic beans, and then you split it among those 15 families.
Right, or they would have maybe two people go down there with everyone's order, and everyone pools their resource and they come up and divvy it up.
So is that kind of the same as how it is right now with the 3,000 owners? How does that work? How is it different?
It's evolved to function so much more like a grocery store.
Okay.
It's not as much of just a buying club. We've got the storefront. You can come in. We are a full service grocery store. We have a kitchen that makes soups, salads, sandwiches, all kinds of dishes. We have a full produce section, a bulk food section, and so you can treat it really just like a grocery store.
Okay.
And to get to your questions about how it's different, the two main things, one are the focus of our foods. We are all about organic foods, naturally foods made without synthetic inputs that you can't pronounce, and weird preservatives, and local foods. And just the fact that we are a co-op, we're not owned by shareholders in New York or LA. We are owned by those about 3,000 people who live and shop in our store. That is the purpose of our store. When we have a profit, we just started in the last couple of years doing we call it a patronage dividend, where we return back a portion of our profits to our owners based on what they spent. So the more you spent there, the larger portion of that profits gets returned back to you.
Yeah, it's like rewarding good behavior.
Exactly.
That's
and
amazing.
you have a stake in it. I mean, you have a stake in making sure that people aren't stealing from it, and that stuff isn't being lost, and stuff isn't being, damaged and all that sort of thing. So how much does it cost to become a member?
Yeah, it's $25 to sign up, and that gets you, we have a lot of owner-only benefits. You get discounts on certain items, you get discounts when you order cases of things, you can take 10% off of a whole purchase twice a year. You get to run for the board of directors, which is actually how one way that our owners exercise control. The board of directors, they hire and monitor the general manager of the store. And the board of directors are all just owners from those 3,000 owners. And so you can run for or vote for the board, and it's $25 a year. And then once you've reached an investment over, it would be 12 years of $300, you're maxed out. State law in California says an individual can't invest more than $300 in a co-op currently. And so some people who know they're going to be with us for a while, they just invest $300 right off the bat, and then they don't have to renew
every year.
Wow.
And I do want to say that we are open to everybody. You do not have to sign up to shop there. It's not an exclusive club. We have plenty of people who just shop there for the quality of the items, and maybe they don't want to become an owner for whatever reason, but they just love what we're selling.
Wow. Now, do you go around as an outreach coordinator, right? Do you go around to the local farmers and the local anybody who sells local food or wine, like we had Burnsini Vineyards on here? Do you go and sell those things as well, or how do you determine what you put in your store?
Right. We have different buyers for the different departments. We have a local produce buyer. It's not just me. Oh gosh, no. But it's really, it's actually really cool. Just last week we had our first ever farmers meeting where we reached out to all of our local farmers who sell to us. We put it up around town just for people who don't sell to us but might be interested in it. And we had them all meet with us. We had over 32 local farmers come out, and we told them, here's what we sell. We sell this many pounds of apples. We sell this many pounds of kale. We want you to be able to grow it. We want to let you know what we want so that you can grow it for us. And we're going to start doing this every year so that the farmers know what we sell, and that way we can have even more local items year after year. Now the farmers know what we want, so they can adjust to some degree what they're growing.
Amazing.
What was their response to that?
They loved it, because it removes some of the guesswork for them. They know, oh, if I grow 400 pounds of Fuji apples, and it meets the co-op's guidelines, of being natural, of organic, then I think I'll have a place to sell it. And it's to coordinate so that there's not maybe 10 different farmers all growing the same item. We can diversify, we can sell things from all these different farmers.
That's so neat.
I want that here.
And a lot of other stores, a lot of other co-ops have done it that way. It's a really organized way of doing it. And I think year after year, it's just going to expand our local options even more.
If somebody is watching in Willows or in Reading, and they say, how do we do this? How would we get a co-op like this in our community? What would be the recommended steps?
Well, I haven't started a co-op myself. But it's about starting out with a community of people that are interested and that want that. And there are organizations. There's the National Cooperative Grocers, which is a co-op of co-ops. It's all cooperative grocery stores that banded together to offer resources to one another to help us compete against the big chains. Whole Foods has however many hundreds of stores, and they're a private corporation. Those stores help each other out, and we want to be able to help each other out. And there are resources online just for the initial steps. But the main thing is just to have that core community of people that care enough, that want to own a grocery store that is responsible to the community and that keeps its profits in the community. Like I said, we're not sending our profits back to home base in Arkansas or New York or LA or anything. It stays in the North State.
So one of the questions I think some people may have as well is it more expensive to shop at the co-op? Because if I'm getting organic or local products, it seems like all the organic and local things are always so much more expensive. Although, many of us are happy paying that because we want it. But is it more expensive in general than?
On some items it is, and there are various reasons for it. A lot of our items are fair trade, and we want to make sure that the people working on it, that you're not inadvertently supporting the exploitation of workers when you do it. But for a lot of actually comparable items, if you compare our prices to anyone else selling the same kind of organic products
or something.
We are really competitive because our goal is not to rack up a ton of profit and then open a new store. Our goal is to provide these items to our owners who shop there, and that's the beauty of it.
And the owners probably agree on the pricing.
Well, everyone would love for things to be cheaper, that is something we're very conscious of, and we try to have especially staple items. We want to have good organic bread at a good price, eggs, produce, things like that. But there are costs of doing business, and a lot of times organic items can sometimes cost more than conventional. But in the organic realm, we are incredibly price competitive.
So do you? Well, gosh, we're almost out of time. I can't believe it. So how can people? Let me fast forward then. How can people find out more? Obviously, give your address again. Give your website, and
we are at 8th and Main Street in downtown Chico, right off California 32. Our website is chiconaturalfoods.coop.
.coop.
Dot is the only punctuation in there. And we're online. We have a Facebook page. But just come on down to the store. Check us out whenever you're in Chico. And I think you're going to find a lot of stuff that you like.
Awesome.
I can't wait.
I can't
What
either.
a great show this has been, because we're like watching the local Tehama winery. We get to find out about you guys. I'm hoping someone in our viewing audience is really inspired and wants to create a co-op in the Reading area. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
Joey, thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure.
It.
Thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for watching. Oh my goodness, another great show here at the Forum. Thank you for watching, and we will look forward to seeing you again next week.